we are back with another Age of Mythology 1v1 game. So this is me, Moose, versus Puck. So you can see I've actually got the nice elos at the top. They're a bit on the wonk because I've edited them. They're from Wolf Studios, so thank you very much to them. It does look a bit nicer now I've fixed them up. But this game is one of my own 1v1 games. It is Zeus versus Loki on the new patch. Now, I think this was my first Zeus game on the new patch, and I really wanted to try out Centaurs. I don't know if Centaurs are going to be the best option versus Loki. In the past, they're obviously not, because Loki has been very strong with his fast Hermes and things like that to actually catch the Centaurs up. But I know Loki has gone through a lot of nerfs, and also Centaurs have been buffed with their nice 3 times damage multiplier versus myth units. So if the enemy Loki player wants to go for some trolls, or he wants to go for some kind of Einherjes, then I can deal with them pretty easily. The map's Tundra, so that means that you get 2 lots of food in your main base. For some reason, I decided to go for the elks rather than the ones that I can put underneath the town center, for this pure reason that I didn't think about it. He's also trying to be a bit cheeky here, pushing away my elk or caribou, whatever it is. But I just leave it. I just let it go, let it slide, and he will eventually come back to me. And I have loads more food in the base anyway. The thing with these huntables is if they move out of their range too much, then they just walk back eventually, and that's exactly what it does right next to the granary. And I hit it before it thinks about moving back anywhere else. That's just anything to do in the early game, just to micro down anything, just to make your life a bit easier. So the map is Tundra, and it has a lot of food on it. So maybe aggressive play isn't the best, because what you can do is just sit in your base. You have lots of hunt, berries, and a decent amount of goats also. But I like putting pressure on. It's just my favorite thing to do in Age of Mythology. I don't like sitting back, so what I want to do is get in there and do something. So I don't think I go for a 330, or maybe I do, I don't really remember. I think I go for a 345, yeah. So I just wait for one more villager, go for a 345 instead. My villagers are being a bit funky, all going on the same caribou, so hopefully I've got enough to actually get up to the next stage. It's just something that happens when one of your caribou is down and you need to shoot another one. Oh, actually, I think I go for a 4-minute advance time. Okay, a little bit later than I thought, but that is fine. Again, like I said, the early pressure is probably not going to be too much anyway. If you're going for a town center off of early pressure, then you probably want to advance a bit earlier. Maybe 4 minutes is fine, to be honest. I think 4 minutes is probably the standard advance time. I've also put my temple in a place here where I protected my gold mine if he wants to send just a couple of raiding cavalry my way, or a couple of hearses, whatever wants to attack me. I'm trying to look around for the relics. I think they're all related to walls, and I don't build too many walls. I probably should build a few more, but I don't really. Split my villagers up. I did a very basic advance time with Zeus. You basically just put most of them over to food, bit on gold, bit on wood, move them back over to food, and it's all good. And now I'm basically putting a few on gold because I know I want to get my Heracles out. What I want to do is get my Jason, get my Heracles, get my free Centaur, and try and get a bit of pressure on. Because I advanced late and later than I normally do, I have a lot of gold, which was a bit of a mistake, to be honest. I don't need 300 gold at this point. But what I do want to do is not just go for Centaurs. I want to go for Hoplite Centaurs. Hoplite Centaurs on the old game, on the original, was very, very strong. I enjoyed playing it. And on Retold, they haven't been so good because hoplites without Athena haven't really been that strong. Whereas now hoplites have... Athena's been nerfed again, shock. But actually, I think it's a really good nerf because what they've done is they've taken some of the power away from the Sarissa upgrade, which is the one where you get extra range and extra HP for your units. And they've just put that on or extra attack, I think, and it's they've moved that to the base hoplite. So hoplites for Hermes are now stronger, so that's absolutely good and fine to go, and that is what we're doing. We're getting an extra Centaur out with our Heracles, because Heracles has also been buffed. He is now faster. Zeus players rejoice. Lots of things going in, and now what I'm doing is I'm thinking about hand axe, because I'm thinking, how many Centaurs am I going to get? So now we're going to look in his base, and the one bad thing about advancing this late is, I mean, he is in the next stage. If I would have gone in a bit sooner with my my 2 centaurs. If I would have advanced 30 seconds earlier, then I'd be here 30 seconds faster, and then he has less of a chance to actually react to what I'm doing. But just how this map spawns is going to be very difficult for me to get in anyway, but any damage is good damage, and we see here, here's Troll, and I just back up because I don't want to get hit by the Troll special, because that'll do a lot of damage to me. I also get my Pegasus upgrade. The Hermes Pegasus upgrade is, I just really like it. It's 50 gold to favor, I think, and you get a Pegasus at all times. If your Pegasus dies, then it comes back to life after 10 seconds or 60 seconds or something. It's not a long time. And I also like to build out Pegasus. I think for someone that's not a really top player that doesn't understand exactly what your opponent's doing, which is definitely me, I have a really hard time guessing what my opponent's actually up to. So if you can play Greek and get Pegasus out, so it's absolutely perfect. So Hermes is a good shout for that. If you're someone like me that needs to know what your opponent's doing, you can't just guess, then yeah, get your Pegasus out. Also, I'm moving out onto the next food, and I do have to be worried about that because there are some raiding cavalry that could potentially come my way. But if I can put some pressure on before that, then it'll be fine. If I also get aggressed on slightly, also get a little bit of damage, a little bit of idle time, and manage to take down that raiding cavalry, which was very nice there. My Pegasus also spots that there's a wall going up, so I just want to just slow that down. Obviously, it will come up eventually, but I want to slow it down. Dodge the Troll special again, and then I do a little bit of awkward micro, and my Centaur gets slapped a few times. And these hearses, if they do get onto the Centaur go down so quickly, so you do have to be worried about them. But I also take out his Troll, and I don't manage to take out anything else, and that's unfortunate because he has a healing spring there, so I really need to kill something off. Actually, I do. Yeah, you see, he gets away with 1 HP, which just wasn't ideal. And here come the raiders, and I decide, you know what, I've overstepped, and I've only got a little bit of economic damage, and he's got a lot, so I'm going to use my ceasefire there. It means that I have to stop aggressing down the bottom too, but I mean, he's in his base, so there's not much that I can really do. Also, I want to bring my dudes back to kind of deal with that, because ceasefire isn't that long. You think you've got a long time if you played the old game, because it was like 50 seconds or whatever it was. But there's only 5 seconds left, and I am not in a position to actually defend this, but he thinks I am. So he walks back slightly. So that was lucky for me, to be honest. I leave my Centaurs there and my Hoplites to defend. Hoplites, good answer to the raiding cavalry. I'm also being raided on that side as well. He's got watchtowers, but I didn't really want to go in his base anyway. Yeah, we see that the raiders are also on this side. So it's looking like a very heavy raiding game, which are the ones that I enjoy. So that's all good for me. Anything that doesn't involve sitting back, I'm all about that. We do see that now my wood villagers, I think I put them onto food by mistake. I don't think they all died, unless they did. And I think I put them onto food by mistake. Now I realize that I don't even have enough wood for a storehouse. So I got to put them back in the kind of open area, which I shouldn't have left them there, to be honest. I've done a good job of defending the bottom side where I put my houses and put my military academies and temple. And then I've awkwardly decided to gather wood in the most open space possible. And that's just something you don't really want to do. Even if it means your villagers are clumped up. If they're in a more defensive spot, I mean, you really want that one, right? Raiders trying to get away. I'm just trying to do a bit of micro to actually hit them. Because before ballistics, the only way to hit them is to be behind them. Or in front of them, just in a straight line. That's the only way to hit them. If they're dodged left to right, it's very, very difficult unless you're basically right next to them, to be honest. I'm looking to see what I want to do next. So Sylvan Law is something that I pre-queued. Sylvan Law is extra HP, basically more survivability for my Centaurs, and that is definitely what I want. I could drop a stable down and get Thundering Hooves, but it's very expensive to do just for the Centaurs. If I was going Hippias as well, then it's probably worth it, but deciding not to do that, just get Sylvan Law instead. It means I don't have to drop down another building. Pegasus still having a look around, and I'm also just kind of spamming out hoplites. I'm not spamming them out as fast as I could, and that's because I am thinking about the next age. What Loki players tend to like to do is go up to the heroic age at a decent time. They don't want to stay in the classical age for too long because their flaming weapons or Njord kind of timings are very, very powerful. So you do have to be cognizant of that. I also have some units at the top. I have no idea why they're exactly there. I didn't mean to put them there, but it worked out that there is a raid coming my way, and I have a Centaur and a couple of units up there. Also, a nice wall by him. Any low cost, high value wall like this, very, very strong. I also see that he needs to put one at the top. Sometimes the trees kind of spawn a bit funky, and I'm trying to get in there. It's also confusing my units because of this, and I will be able to take out that Hersa, but he does have to run back there. And what I should have done, looking back, is I should have also done a similar wall at the top where my unit was earlier by that little pond, because it's might come back to bite me in the butt later on. I do manage to pull back the Centaur, and that's basically all you need to do against the Hersas. There is a big raid coming in the bottom of my base that I just didn't see. I can see watching this one back, but at the time, didn't have a clue. What I'm doing is I've spotted some of his villagers at the top right with my Pegasus, so that is what I'm doing. And unfortunately, my villagers are going to get hit quite bad. They're also low HP. I don't know why I left some low HP villagers to go and gather food, but that's just what happens. Also, I'm now deciding to move my wood villagers over to the other side, just as I said, in that more defensive spot. And to be honest, could probably do with another wall. Looking back, my defensive game could improve. He's just scouting down here. I don't know if he was scouting to see about that town center or not. Maybe he was just having a look, seeing if my units were actually coming, because he might have seen my Pegasus. And I've managed to get a couple of units here, and there he is. He is going through Bragi. So exactly as I thought, I needed to... sometimes I can guess what they're doing. You can normally guess what they're doing by the amount of units you see. And if you don't see full population units, you can assume that they're probably going to the third age, which is exactly what I'm doing as well. I decided to go Apollo. I mean, you've got two choices. Apollo has the underworld and the Manticores, more archer damage. And then Dionysus is the big bronze push, or bronze kind of counter to flaming weapons. You can kind of go for either. I don't really know why I chose Apollo, to be honest. I just wanted to try something different. I've used Dionysus a lot. I think he's very, very strong. And this is what I mean about the Hersas. Fortunately, I wasn't paying attention to my Centaurs, and they get whacked, and one of them goes down pretty quickly. And Underworld can be good to just get a little bit of damage off on something that he isn't expecting. Even though he does have quite a fast army, so he can get down and back pretty quickly. I do pre-queue some of my upgrades here. This is something that I do see some of the higher level guys do, is as they go up to the third age, they know that they want their shaft mine or whatever it is upgrade that they want. Maybe it's the farming one, maybe it's the wood one. And then I realized, actually, I did it with heavy infantry too, but I kind of need to drop a fortress down because my gold is about to run out. And if my gold runs out with all these raiders around, then I'm just dead. So rather than putting on the pressure now, I'm more here to defend, and I do manage to put up a wall eventually. I also delete this house so I can get a bit of damage with these Centaurs. I probably didn't need to delete the house, to be honest. And he knows that those raiding cavalry are dead, so he decides to just turn around and get some villager kills. And I think he does get one on me there. I also tried a little bit of ghost building, but didn't work. And this is it. This is why I needed the fortress. And I needed to do it as soon as I get up to the next stage, because if I do it now and some of those raiders come back, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble. But now I pre-queue my heavy infantry. He's getting heavy cavalry, so I know that my units are still going to counter him pretty well. I'm also getting the hack armor upgrade. If you're playing against Norse, I just think it's one of the most important upgrades to get, because basically all of their units, apart from Godi and some myth units, are hack damage. So it's just like, why not really? It's just very high value. And this is when I start my farm transition. I could obviously go out and hunt some bits. There is some huntables down here by my gold mine that I can get, but I don't want to send too many villagers there. And I need to at least slowly go for some kind of farm transition, just because the raiders can pick off my villagers so quickly. And this is me trying to defend the gold mine as good as I possibly can, just because the raiders can kind of come in. I decided to do a couple of walls, couple more military academies. That down there, the wall was red. I don't really know why. And instead of walking down there and trying to fix it, I was just like, oh well, it's red. Nothing I can do. My Pegasus does spot a nice gold mining operation up there, and it is an idea to underworld that. And that's what I'm kind of thinking about now is Underworld worth it? Shall I wait until I can kind of defend this spot if anything's coming my way? My guys get confused by the walls. So I put a gate in. They're still confused, but they do eventually get down here. And I put as many gates in as I possibly can. And I scare them dudes away. And then I just decide to do a wall that I can get down here and a wall down here. So much more defensive. And I probably should have done this right from the beginning. But here we go. This is the important thing about watching your games back, though. You see, I wouldn't have really thought about these things, so I hope it's helping you as much as it's helping me. I don't know why he said no. That was a bit weird. Also, I don't know why my guy stopped building that wall. Then he just blocks off my units. It was really, really strange. But I do manage to sort out his big raid here. And that's going to be very strong for me. He also does get a second town center in. I send my Pegasus down that right-hand side to make sure that he hasn't had a second town center for longer than I thought. Looking at the score, it probably wouldn't be the case, but you really don't want to be down a town center. And now I'm trying to put my underworld down, and for some reason, it's just not working. I have no idea why. It looks like it's worked, but it isn't. So I put it further back than I would have liked. I would have preferred to have it closer to that gate so that I could actually block some units, but I just couldn't manage that. The game just wasn't having it. So unfortunately, I don't think I get any villager kills there. I do push him off that gold, and there's no gold close, like even close to being close. So that's a win for me. And I also send a couple of centaurs back just in case he kind of wants to do something. Also, what I've been doing is getting enough favor and not spending any more. So I have enough for a ceasefire for this flaming weapons that I see will potentially come soon. 75 favor to use it again. It doesn't completely counter the flaming weapons, but it's just a good idea to get rid of half of it. And normally what you can do is use it either on the back end and just take the brunt of the start of it, or you can use it right at the beginning and then try and position your unit so the back end of the flaming weapons doesn't actually matter. And that's kind of what I choose to do there. I'm also getting a second town center as well because I don't want to fall behind on the population and the villager front also. The hoplites against the Herses is a pretty good fight for me. Flaming weapons is in, and I'm just running away with my hoplites here. I do see that he has a lot of units and that weren't originally there, which is a really great play by him to kind of almost bait me in, but I did have that ceasefire ready. And that means that, yeah, after this ceasefire is done, there's only 10 minutes left. 10 minutes? 10 seconds left of the flaming weapons. 10 minutes of flaming weapons is not something that I kind of want to have happen. And now we're getting our walls up. Got to do a funky wall around the gold mine. Just kind of how it works. I've got my manticore here, ready to get some splash damage off on these villagers. Fortunately, won't be able to kill any. I do send my centaurs there as well, but I assume there's Herses coming for me, so I do then panic and manage to not get those back in there. Now, I have two choices. I think about choice number one, which is go to the Underworld Passage. Then I see that he sent his entire army there. Yes, it isn't that far from where I want to attack, but I go, well, why don't I just get a bit of an advantage to attack this settlement here? I also turn my centaurs off of auto attack for their ability there, because I knew that they could one-shot the dwarf on their own. I don't really want to waste it, especially with the amount of units that I could get some good AoE damage on. And I decide just to completely go for the town center. This is where being Athena would be nice to have the restoration, but then obviously I wouldn't have been able to have the ceasefire earlier. So it just depends what you're kind of after there. But this is where Athena restoration kind of shines. I'm also making sure that my centaurs and manticores are getting any myth units that he's got because of their multiplier. And I take down the town center, but I lose a lot of population. Also, my macro is my macro. It's about as good as my macro gets. Also realizing I don't have enough military buildings. I mean, I have enough for hoplites, but I kind of want to change into something else. And I see my situation of how many resources I actually have, so it's time to spam up farms and also get some maybe wood-based units. So I think archers is probably going to be what I decide to go into here. There's a lot of throwing axemen, there's a lot of hearses. There's raiding cavalry too, but then I've got enough hoplites to deal with the raiding cavalry. Also, what I just did then, it wasn't on purpose, but it is something that I do quite often, is if there's a unit like a centaur, like a troll, like anything like that, what you can do, or that has a crazy big special, you can just send one unit in. If they have it on auto cast, then basically they're just going to waste it on that one unit, and then you can just go in and win the fight after that. It's something that I do quite often, or at least try to do quite often. I also see that he was trying to mine gold there, and he actually walks off very nicely there, because otherwise my centaurs would have cleaned them up pretty quickly. He's splitting his army up here, so I'm sending all my heroes to all his trolls. Makes sense. Everything else to the rest. I'm also maybe going to think about Mythic Age soon, because he's getting a lot of trolls, and the only good answer to those are my heroes and my centaurs. And I don't really have enough centaurs to kind of deal with the amount of trolls that he has. I also think that is where he is getting gold from, and I'm just going to let him have that one. I've got a lot more of the map than he has, or at least the map that kind of matters with the gold mines on it. So what I decided to do there is just go, well, you can finish up that gold mine because it's got like 2,000 left in it, and I've got the other 4 gold mines, or the other 5 gold mines even. So I know that I'm in a pretty good spot here. And to be honest, the macro situation that I've found myself in is not ideal. I do want to go up to Hephaestus. I think Hephaestus, again, this is just right at the start of this new patch, and I didn't know if Hephaestus was good. Spoiler alert for anybody, Hephaestus is good. It isn't just this game. But I think if you don't have that many armory upgrades, then Hephaestus is very strong. Basically, what they've buffed with him is your armory upgrades now come in quicker. So you basically, what you want to do when you go through Hephaestus is get his upgrade from the armory to get your really, really cheap armory upgrades. And I see the amount of trolls here. And then basically spam all of your armory upgrades out to get the iron weapons, iron mail, whatever, for super duper cheap and quickly. And yeah, now it's just very, very fast that you can get those in. If you have 3 armories, you can get those in a couple of minutes easily. Trying to do a bit of micro here with these centaurs and trying to pick off as many trolls as I possibly can. You can see the amount of damage these centaurs do. I should have kept them there. I don't know why I actually brought those back. Maybe I'm scared about something. But those centaurs were putting in work, and they're much faster than the trolls. Maybe I think about it now, but there's no reason not to. Again, Alt Q to change them off of the 3 throwing axemen, because I want to use it on the bulk of the army. He does run in the army, but he's in a much better spot now as he gets to the Mythic Age, gets his Nidhogg in, gets his Fire Giant out, and I send my heroes in. Unfortunately, they're getting slapped around, and he is in quicker to the Mythic Age than I am. And this is the main reason that I chose this video or this game to make a video on, is because probably the first 20 minutes of this game was in my favor. It's exactly how I wanted the game to go. Yes, I got raided a bunch. I got pushed back from certain areas, but it was my game and it was my game plan. Whereas now he hits his power spike earlier than me, and I somehow need to deal with it. His hearses get onto my centaurs really, really well there. Fortunately, I built this wall with a bit of a gate there. But you can see the amount of trolls that he has, and they just do so much damage to my hoplites. It doesn't matter how many hoplites I actually have, they're just getting melted. You can just see my population going down so much. I'm constantly trying to build these more units out. He gets a good raid with this Nidhogg, and right now I'm in a panic. I send my centaurs forward stupidly, and yeah, my population is just so low. I have 35 idle villagers. Basically, you can just see where I put that storehouse. Everything is in a shambles. and I don't really know what to do. So I just decided to just wall up everywhere. That top town center there is really bad for me. I've got no defenses on it. If he was to send something over there to kind of deal with it, if he was to send a couple of battle balls or something like that, I'd be in a really bad time. So even though I've got the map pressure for all of the gold mines, he has this forward gold mine that he can mine from because he just has so many more military units than me, so many stronger military units. So I do manage to get Mythic Age, which is what I wanted there, and I sort out my armory. Maybe I've done that already, maybe I'm about to. And I get Bellerophon out, which is one of the best units in the entire game, and he can deal with all of these trolls. Unfortunately, he's going to the bottom right for some reason. I think maybe that's where the Nidhogg is, or maybe it's just where the villagers wanted to go, but unfortunately I didn't even notice that. So Bellerophon is not putting in as much of a shift as I would like him to. And more military units, more military academies to come up, because I just know that the amount that's actually happening to me, the amount of damage that I'm under, the amount of pressure, and I just need more military buildings. I think probably for this point of the game, you're going to want 10-ish of everything, just as like a kind of rule of thumb. If you get to the Mythic Age, you probably want 10 of each building that you're building a lot of units from. Also, his trolls are just kind of stuck there. I just decided to just run away from them. They can't do anything to building, so just leave them alone. I do have a decent amount of resources here, at least gold. So I'm not in a bad spot here. The Nidhogg is a problem. My Bellerophon just died. Didn't know where he was. Really bad play by me. If you have a high value unit like the Bellerophon, like some of these Chinese John Wicks and things like that, you need to keep an eye on where they are. The Nidhogg, the Yinglongs, all of those units, you need to put them on their own control group and kind of see where they are. He decides to turn around and shank my Bellerophon, which is not the idea. He is very, very strong, and he would take out all of those enemy units there. Bellerophon, I'm just trying to get a bit of raids off on this gold mine, because I know that's his only gold mine. I'm assuming he started a trade. Obviously, I haven't seen it, but you just assume, because this is the only gold mine for him, so you just assume. I also get my manual Q jump there to just get out, because he was stuck, and Bellerophon will go down to all the units surrounding him eventually. So you got to be worried about that. I also managed to take down the Nidhogg. I think he was preoccupied by my heroes, and now I'm getting all my upgrades that I would have wanted to get earlier. What you want to do when you get up to the Mythic Age is get all those upgrades in, but I couldn't because I didn't have enough population. And looking back, and even now, I don't need to be pushing out this far. My idea is I want to stop him getting that gold mine, but look at the bar for that gold mine. It's probably got 500, 1,000 left in it. There's just no point now to actually try to defend that. I just leave it as it is, and he's going to be out of gold anyway, unless he pushes me off of my 2 gold mines. So why not just leave that there? Also, seeing the market value there, the market value for selling is nothing. So I know that he's been selling a lot. So there was no need to actually pressure. I just needed to sit back like I am now, get to my 235 pop. I don't know why the Colossus went over there. I definitely set all my waypoints down this side, but hey ho, that's what happens sometimes. Nothing you could do about it, I guess. Also, just having a little cheeky look at what he's doing here. Now, the reason that I was obviously pressuring this side is because that's where his gold mine was. I don't know if this is still the best place to pressure. Maybe it is because this is where my gold mines are, but he decides to change to at the top there. So what I do is I just send most of my units there. I don't want to send everything, because you leave yourself susceptible to getting attacked somewhere else, but I send the vast majority over to actually deal with him there. And what he ends up doing is sending quite a few units to the top side here. What I think he's about to do is attack some of my villagers, so I drop some ghost buildings. But I think what he's trying to do is drop some longhouses, drop some hill forts in my base, and then just kind of be annoying, which is definitely what you want to do if you're in a late game situation and you think that your army isn't as strong, which, if anything, isn't Greek, then it isn't strong. The Greeks just have the strongest military when it comes to the late game. with their Bellerophon, with their just the units are expensive and strong, especially hoplites. They are very, very tanky. I'm getting some Hippaspis as well, just from obviously the amount of hearses we see. Also spamming up the markets. I have 2 gold mines kind of there. Also, my military units get a bit out of position. It's unfortunately a theme amongst my games. I get a bit lost. So throwing away some of my advantage here. He does drop a longhouse and then kind of bails. I don't want that longhouse to then build another Ulfsark, to then build another longhouse, and it can really get out of hand there. So rather than send any units back, what I decided to do was just let some of my units die on the front and then build some more Hippaspis to kind of go back and deal with that instead. I am winning on the front here. He has one of them snakes just spitting constantly, which is quite funny. I do eventually clean up this longhouse. And then what I'm doing with my fortresses is I'm trying to secure more of the map. I'm not sure if this is the right place to do it. What I want to do is go for this town center on the right side, because it kind of links up with my base pretty well. But I just instead go for the jugular. It's a fine choice. If you don't know where to go, just go right down the throat, and that's kind of what I end up doing here. Maybe not the best idea going into his healing spring, but as I am Greek and he's used all his big powerful bits, then I'm in a good spot. Also, my Plentyvolt has been putting in a shift. What I am kind of waiting for is a second Plentyvolt, which is why I have 150 favor, and not spending that on any Colossus or Manticores or what have you. I'm really trying to get this Heracles out. I don't think I have enough farms. I did a farm transition on my other one really late, because I was still getting hunt like very late into the game, and my macros has gone out the window. But we've got a lot of pressure going on. Bellerophon back out. He costs gold. We got loads of that, so that's absolutely fine. And then we're just fortressing further up. The gold mines are finished up, but to be honest, it's not really a problem. And he is getting some good raids off here with just a couple of units, probably 3 units, knowing a Loki player, and it just causes a bit of disruption to me, which is obviously causing my food macro to kind of go downhill. I decide to send somebody back, and then I'm like, actually, no, the villagers can handle 1 myth unit. Will be absolutely fine. You can just ignore an Einherji as well. I mean, it's a bit slow and not really a big deal there. And as we get to this point, he does decide that that's the end of that one. So why I wanted to share this one is it's a bit different, where I went for a plan. It was working out for a while, then he just hits his power spike and it completely changes what I was doing. I also go and check some of the upgrades. I look at my upgrades. I even mouse over them because I thought maybe this would be a good game. Get your upgrades. If I would have had better farm upgrades, I do have more military ones. If I was to get some better farm upgrades, maybe I wouldn't be struggling for food, but that is that one. If you want to see certain gods for this, then let me know. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.